pride and passion about what you do, it's hard to say goodbye.
The Mike Anderson era is over in Fayetteville. I'm Hayden, Balgavy, live in Northwest Arkansas. We have reaction from fans coming up.
Razorback Nation, it's been a challenging day. Those are the words from Mike Anderson tonight as news broke that he has been let go as head basketball coach at the University of Arkansas.
After 8 seasons as the head hog and 25 seasons overall with the program, the Anderson era is over.
I want to thank my family for their love and their support, our coaching staff and their families. And I also want to thank the Razorback fans. There are none like our Razorback family.
As fans across Arkansas learn the news, our Hayden Balgavy made the trip to the Hill.
He joins us live tonight with reaction from Fayetteville.
Absolutely, guys. We arrived about 6:45 this evening as the sun was setting on Bud Walton Arena. It was also setting, as you guys mentioned, on the Mike Anderson era after 8 years. Now, this was a very controversial decision. A lot of folks thought Mike Anderson would be sticking around following their first victory in the NIT. They, of course, lost to Indiana on Saturday. We made our way down to Dixon Street this evening, and there was a lot of mixed emotions. A house divided Tuesday night in Fayetteville, some frustrated.
I don't agree with the Mike Anderson fire at all.
Some more understanding.
I mean, he was a great guy. You hate to see that happen with anybody, but I'm ready for the program to move forward.
We even broke the news on the street to Mike and Regina Belmont.
Well, I think it's ridiculous. I mean, I can't imagine that. It shocks me.
These lifelong Razorback fans believing athletic director Hunter Yurachek made a mistake dismissing the 8-year head coach.
I don't know what the athletic director could be thinking, if he's thinking at all. He must have I'm not going to say that.
Fellow Razorback fan Johnny Funderburg agrees that Coach Anderson needed more time on the Hill.
We just don't have it right now, and like we're building, and like, dude, I want to cry. Like it sucks so bad. Like I don't want to lose Mike Anderson, period.
No fans question Mike Anderson's integrity or loyalty to the University of Arkansas, but others like Mason and Jonathan believe Yurachek is doing the right thing for the program.
Personally, I thought he was a great guy, sharp dresser. I'm sure he was a great coach, but I'm sure athletic director's doing the best for the school. So,
I think we relied a little bit too much on Gafford, to be honest. But I'm excited for the young guys. I think we got a chance next year.
Now the question is, who will fill Mike Anderson's shoes? Early names in consideration, current Texas Tech and former Little Rock head coach Chris Beard and Houston head coach Kelvin Sampson, both of whom preparing for the Sweet 16 this weekend.
Honestly, hiring the Houston Cougars head coach.
So you'd like to see Kelvin Sampson?
Yes. Explosive offense and very tough defense. I mean, they're number 3 seed for a reason. I got them in the finals.
Hunter Yurachek was adamant that search will begin nationally immediately for the next head coach for the Arkansas Razorbacks. But as you guys heard in those sound bites, fans very emotional about Mike Anderson. 8 very successful years at times, 8 very difficult moments at times. But of course, he was an assistant on that 1994 national championship team. And this comes on the eve of the possible notion of a naming of Nolan Richardson head coach. Of course, the Board of Trustees meeting tomorrow in Hot Springs. A lot of action, a lot of intensity, and a lot of emotion here in Northwest Arkansas as the Razorbacks are in need of a new head basketball coach. That is all right now, though, from Fayetteville. Guys, we will send it back to you in the studio.
Got us a vacancy to fill. Thank you, Hayden. There's certainly a lot of emotions, as Hayden talked about, surrounding this decision. Of course, other than Mike Anderson and his family, the people it impacts the most, Dorian, the players.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I talked to Daniel Gafford and Mason Jones after the loss to Florida in the SEC tournament about whether or not Mike Anderson still the right guy for the Razorback program moving forward. Both undoubtedly said yes. So, of course, not a surprise to see both of them and others take to Twitter today to express their reactions. There you can see Daniel tweeting out, "He made me a man. He helped me to mature from the freshman to the man I am now. I can't thank this man enough. I hate that this happened to you, but it's an opening to another blessing for you, Coach. Once a hog, always a hog." Gabe Osaboyan, "As tears come down my eyes, love you, Coach. Gave this kid a chance and believed in me as a player, taught me more than basketball. This one hurt." And Jalen Harris echoed that, saying, "Can't thank you enough. You and your coaching staff believed in me when no one else did. Khalil Garland chimed in, "How do you fire a man that has never had a losing record and has been to the NCAA tournament 3 out of the last 4 years? I just don't understand." And finally, Mason Jones said, "Thank you, Coach A. I love you, man. You gave me a scholarship when nobody wanted to. You will always be remembered."
And you know, that kind of sums up exactly what was going on in Fayetteville, because Mike Anderson, like Nolan Richardson, believed in recruiting players who were good, who were solid, who were consistent, but maybe nobody else wanted. Or maybe they weren't the 4-star or 5-star recruits. And that's why that loyalty was so intense.
Yes, and of course, you know, he did a lot, even if they weren't recruits that maybe were getting a lot of attention nationally, did a lot with what he brought in. And those are things that players really, really respect. And of course, you know, now the question begins, who's going to replace him?
And will this team, who I thought at the end of the season proved to be pretty resilient, will this team respond to that new name? That's another issue.
Well, we will have to wait and see. I thought they looked better in the last 2 NIT games.
Right.
A couple of them have come out and said they weren't planning on transferring before. Whether or not they stay now, anybody's guess.
All right, we've got more thoughts coming up. Before we get to Dorian Kraft and sports, a few more thoughts on the dismissal of Mike Anderson today. You know, he may not have won any championships at Arkansas, but he does have one distinction. He is one of just 4 current Division I coaches with more than 15 years experience that has never had a losing season. And he coached on a high level, always with dignity, always with an eye on player development. I love the 2 stars he had at Arkansas, Bobby Portis and Daniel Gafford. I love the surprise stars, Michael Qualls, Daryl Macon, Jalen Barford. I loved how his teams competed against Kentucky. I love that the Nolan Richardson still had a connection with Mike Anderson. I wish Mike could have stayed. I understand why he was let go. I wanted to see if he could develop that young talent he had. But unfortunately, I'd grown complacent, and we'd all watched the Tennessee, Auburn, and LSU programs pass us by. The negatives were beginning to outweigh the positives. A big-time college program can't afford to maintain long-term relationships unless you get the trophies. So now we move on. We want a coach that's aggressive, can recruit, win championships, cut down nets. But before new candidates start getting mentioned and a new coach is hired, let's just take a second to toast graciousness, integrity, love of the Hogs, low-key confidence and professionalism. A toast to Mike Anderson.
When you have pride and passion about what you do, it's hard to say goodbye.
I think he should have been given another year.
The Mike Anderson era is over in Fayetteville as the Razorback men's head basketball coach is dismissed. I'm Hayden Balgavy. We're live this Wednesday morning on THV11.